You say your name right now.
Denise.
Say it right.
Denise.
Correctly.
Denise.
Right.
Denise.
Right.
D-nice.
That's better. Thank you.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines two of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infinium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
Okay. I've noticed that Antonio Brown has found yet another sucker to take him on. God knows we've already done Pittsburgh's dirty laundry. I'm curious about one thing. Do you think that he'd be welcomed back as easily in the league if he were going back to Bill Belichick and the Patriots? In other words, you think that he'd be welcome back if you were going to make New England a better team, or if he's going back to Tom Brady?
Armchair. We are the Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limited hearing, full stop making lane change signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms, so stop on by at Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. Top Gun Supply is open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Top Gun Supply, the friendly gun shop.
What do we do? This just got way too complicated.
I've got it. Here's what's going down. Corey, you talk to your team. You guys are going to decline that holding call.
Done.
Yo, wait, but then...
Hold on. Trayshawn, once we break this huddle, you're going to get out there, do some crazy celebration. I'm talking some humpies. Whatever you got to do, you do it.
Okay, I got you.
I'm going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on the celebration, giving the Whites better field position after the kickoff. Coach, I need you to talk to your team about letting them run that kickoff back.
Why would I do that?
Think about it. Defense, special team, it's all one. You let them run that kickback, both your defenses get 6 points.
Nice.
Okay, everyone good here?
Yeah.
Nope. Once again, my kicker is getting no love.
Oh, shut up, Bill. Your team is in first place. Plus, you're about to get extra point for the PAT.
Yeah, don't be greedy, Bill.
Stop being greedy, Bill. Bill.
Fine.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
I said fine.
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
You, Bill.
All right, let's do this. Get out there.
Wait a minute. Trayshawn comes in with a very delayed celebration here. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be yeah, there it is. Another
Armchair.
No AA Ron, huh? Well, you better be...
Make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
Even though you're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, we're here weekdays, drive time, your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines two of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infinium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
What do we do? This just got way too complicated.
I've got it. Here's what's going down. Corey, you talk to your team. You guys are going to decline that holding call.
Done.
Yo, wait, but then...
Hold on. Trayshawn, once we break this huddle, you're going to get out there, do some crazy celebration. I'm talking some humpies. Whatever you got to do, you do it.
Okay, I got you.
I'm going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on the celebration, giving the Whites better field position after the kickoff. Coach, I need you to talk to your team about letting them run that kickoff back.
Why would I do that?
Think about it. Defense, special team, it's all one. You let them run that kickback, both your defenses get 6 points.
Nice.
Okay, everyone good here?
Yeah.
Nope. Once again, my kicker is getting no love.
Oh, shut up, Bill. Your team is in first place. Plus, you're about to get extra point for the PAT.
Yeah, don't be greedy, Bill.
Stop being greedy, Bill. Bill.
Fine.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
I said fine.
Bill.
Bill. Yeah, Bill. You, Bill.
All right, let's do this. Get out there.
Wait a minute. Trayshawn comes in with a very delayed celebration here. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be yeah, there it is. Another
Armchair.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limit, hearing, full stop, making lane change, signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
It's time to jump into DraftKings. Go to DraftKings today at DraftKings.com. Golf, NASCAR, soccer, you name it. And of course, Major League Baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. Go to DraftKings.com. Listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks for DFS advice all year round.
You think I got canceled? Are you under the impression that I got canceled?
I hurt you, Jerry.
I thought that was pretty well documented. Is this still CNN? I was the number one show on television, Larry. Do you know who I am? 75 million viewers last episode.
What? You don't take it so bad.
Well, that's the big difference between being canceled and being number one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Good morning. Welcome to the Neighborhood Play. Christian Pledge and Joey Ariola. Christian, how the hell are you this morning, sir? Christian? Joey, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. It's a fantastic morning. Ready to talk some baseball. Unfortunately, for my squad, it's not going so well ever since the sweep of the Cardinals, but we'll get into that. How you doing, Mac?
Good. Christian, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry. I had my audio turned down like a clown.
That's okay. I was like, uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah, right.
Oh, God. How's it going to go? How's this going to go?
I'm doing well, though. Happy to be back on another beautiful show of Armchair Quarterback.
Yeah, I am. I'll tell you one thing. I'm ready for some good baseball this weekend. They're going to get bad weather in Atlanta, by the way. So any people who watch that are Braves or Cardinals fans, you're probably not going to get baseball today. The game's due at 7:15, and that storm is coming through, the tropical storm. So all likelihood that will not be kicking. But at 6:15 Eastern, 7:15 Eastern, 6:15 Central on Fox, there is a big game that I'm going to be paying attention to. And that's White Sox versus the Astros. And they had a walk-off last night against them. But the White Sox Astros, that's going to be a fun series to keep up with this weekend. Can you hear us? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Just sitting there like a thumb. How about we get some kind of reaction from a damn Cubs fan? Because a White Sox fan is still asleep at the wheel. What say you, Joey, about getting trounced last night by the dirty ass Marlins?
Yeah, I got in my car after some dinner and I was just like 10-2. I mean, we don't, in Wrigley, they don't really like to take the chance a lot of the time with the Friday night games just because things could get a little bit wild, but it was pretty ugly. And after that Mets series where at least we salvaged the last game to, I thought maybe build some momentum into the weekend. That was sadly not the case. And it was very disappointing to see. Besides Jock Peterson getting a couple of hits, we did nothing offensively. And then one of my least favorite pitchers, Zach Davies, gave up about 1,000 runs. So yesterday's one to throw out, and I'm hoping today's better as I picked up Jake Arrieta for a spot start. By the way, thank you, Mr. Max Fried, for giving me a strong win last night. But yeah, not a good start to the weekend series for the Chicago Cubs.
That's the thing about that I have learned about Zach Davies over the years is he's going to have those duds because he's not a hard throwing pitcher, right? He's not Garrett Cole. And so if his timing is off, if he doesn't have the touch, he's going to get hammered from time to time. You just hope it doesn't show up in October. Now, it's also Atlanta's fault because Atlanta didn't re-sign Adam Duvall like a bunch of dumbasses, and he had himself a night last.
Yes, he did.
God, I always check to see what's going on in the world of fantasy baseball, and I saw the Cubs score, but I was actually more locked in to the St. Louis Atlanta game, the Chicago Houston game, and then I was also watching the playoffs. And I was like, man, they scored a lot of runs. Okay, it was Davies, whatever. And then I saw Adam Duvall. I was like, God bless, have yourself a day, man. What
6 RBI.
Oh, he had a grand slam, didn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely it was between him and actually one other guy did the damage. Birdie at third base, he went 2 for 3 with 3 RBI as well. So between those two guys and actually, now that I'm looking at the box score, Alfaro too at catcher went 3 for 3. But man, they just had an offensive night. That's one of those games you throw away. And I'm a huge Jake Arrieta fan, as many Cubs fans know me. I just hope today he gets him off the schneid. We talked about how he's not the same pitcher, of course, as the last time he was in Chicago, but sometimes he throws in a pretty good start, and then he has usually a bad one. Last start, not so good. So I'm hoping today he gets off the schneid.
Okay. Now, today you've got Cubs, Miami. That's a 2:20 start, by the way. Pablo Lopez up against Arrieta, like you said. I'll tell you one thing, for people who are mainly Chicago fans and have not watched a lot of Marlins, Pablo Lopez is a good pitcher. He's a really good pitcher. So you're going to have your hands full. If you can get to that Marlins bullpen early, that's how you beat the Marlins. Their bullpen is they've got a decent back end of the bullpen, but the middle part, if they have to play you a game where their starter doesn't make it through the 4th or 5th inning, that's how you get to the Marlins, because they don't have a bullpen set up down the line. And then later on, just talked about it, Lance Lynn versus Framber Valdez, White Sox, Astros. That should be a hell of a game, shouldn't it?
That should be a phenomenal one. I'm hoping that the White Sox can squeeze one out after last night's tough late loss, but we'll see. Lance Lynn with the attitude on the mound. Just love to see that guy pitch every time he's out there. It's like every time he strikes somebody out, I feel like I have to buy him a shot or something like that, you know?
He gives off that vibe. He's kind of got, because I saw a quote from him the other day. They were asking him if he thought the Rays White Sox series a big one, and he, like, as most players do, they kind of throw it aside. And I don't know about you guys, where you guys stand when you got these like first place teams playing like in the middle of the year, because I've seen it before where in the regular season you get swept, playoff time gets around, it depends who's pitching, gets hot, and so forth. So how much stock do you guys put into these, when you get the Rays and the White Sox, or the Astros and the White Sox, or the Cubs and Cardinals, and then, we lose them? Where do you guys put these series where you have two top echelon teams that happen about midway through the year like we are?
I think midway through the year, it's a good litmus test. Now, if it takes place in April, I have to take a lot of things into account. So I don't really pay much attention to it, because usually whatever team you have in April is not the team you're going to have in October. But I think June is about where we really get, once you get past Memorial Day, to me, is when I really get into the meat of the Major League Baseball season, as far as, not that all games aren't important, because they are. You need to win every game in April that you can, just like you need to win every game in September. But when you're sitting there in June, I feel like, other than a few ads here and there, this is probably your team going forward, and this is probably the Astros teams going forward. And I love these big matchups. I mean, they're fun. You would think St. Louis, Atlanta would be a big matchup, but it's not. It's two teams that are basically going nowhere. I find it funny that the Braves Twitter, they were all pounding their chest last night, and I was like, relax, dude. This team just got swept by the Cubs. This team doesn't have Jack Flaherty. This is not a typical Cardinal team, right? And so don't forget, you just lost 2 out of 3 of the Marlins. Okay, don't forget your bullpen blew 2 against Philly. But when you got two teams that are playing well, like the White Sox, like the Astros, I think it's different, because you get a good litmus test. Let's say for some crazy reason Atlanta makes the playoffs, and some crazy reason St. Louis makes the playoffs. This particular series this weekend is not going to matter, because this is not the team that will have made it to October. But these are the teams in Chicago that are in Houston. These are essentially the teams, God forbid any more injuries to the White Sox, that would be in the playoffs. And then it's conversely with the Cubs. I mean, You lose a game to the Marlins, it's going to happen in a 162 game season. It's just going to. You don't want it to turn into a long losing streak, and so that's why today's important, because you want to get out there and get back on the winning track. Even though Pablo Lopez is a good pitcher, the Miami Marlins are not a good baseball team. So you want to take advantage when you play the Marlins, because there's going to be matchups down the road where you're playing the Brewers or you're playing in St. Louis when they get Flaherty back, right? Those games are going to matter. And it's nice to go, well, that's fine, because we got a 7-game lead because we beat the crap out of the Marlins and the Pirates all year long. So
well, and that's a good point you bring up too, because it's like momentum in baseball just, it carries day to day. Obviously depends on the starting pitcher usually, but it gets a little frustrating sometimes. The Cubs had that 14-game stretch where they went 7-7. And it was like, we lose 3 out of 4 to the Giants. You don't feel so good. Then you go on and, you beat 2 out of 3 in San Diego. Then you sweep the Cardinals. But then you lose 3 out of 4 to the Mets. So it's like this roller coaster of emotion where I can't even figure the team out myself too much, really.
First of all, the Giants and Mets are 2 really good baseball teams.
No doubt. Yes.
So I think it sucks to lose 3 out of 4, but you were also on the road on both of them, weren't you?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought, because I remember staying up late. I watch a lot of Giants baseball. It's a long story, but I remember watching that series, and the Giants are gritty, man. They just find a way to win. They don't have any stars. They don't have. I bet you if you grab the average, not necessarily average bozo, average baseball fan off the street, they can't name you 3 players that play for the San Francisco Giants today. I guarantee they'd be like, is Buster Posey, is he retired? And then after that, they would be struggling. And, they probably don't even know that Kevin Gausman has a microscopic ERA and is pitching well. Alex Wood has found his second self. But the Mets, the Mets one was tough. The Mets one was tough because you come off the sweep and you think you're playing good baseball, and then you go into New York and you can't find a base hit. And that one was tough, especially when DeGrom gets knocked out on the game on Wednesday.
Yep.
And then you still can't beat them. That one's tough, but I think the big picture is for the Cubs, they're not in a very strong division. That's number one. So you like that. And then number 2, they're going to add. There's no way this is the Chicago Cub starting rotation on August 1st. There's no way. They've got, because at this point, now I know you want to talk about Jed Hoyer's comments. What exactly did he say?
Well, and, kind of to sum it up, like I'll paraphrase here, he pretty much was like, we can't make any, heart strung decisions. We got to keep things, in perspective. But he's trying to keep those average comments going. But it's like, come on. I know we're 80.
We're winning. Let's go for it.
Right. We're 70 games in, 1 game up in first place. And listen, I realize probably giving, three contracts of big money out to, Rizzo, Baez, and Bryant may not be realistic, but come on, let's get a couple of them back. You're the Chicago Cubs. You have a lot of money. You built up the place around Wrigley. You're in first place right now. I believe, I'm one of those guys, and I had a little argument with one of my buddies where he's like, well, you're not winning the World Series this year, so why would you go for it? I go, anytime you can have a chance to go into the dance, you never miss that opportunity. As a first place organization right now, as the Chicago Cubs are, okay, maybe they're not is on par to the NL West teams, but why don't you take a chance? You get one starting pitcher on the north side to add into the rotation, and you get hot with those bats. I know they're known to strike out a lot, but this Cubs team can get hot and make a run. And I'm sick of people saying, we can't win it all. You get in the dance and you see what freaking happens, if you ask.
Yeah, it's different if your team's struggling, but you're. I mean,
it's frustrating.
I'm like, you know what it reminds me of? I'm a Celtic fan in basketball. It's the reason why we're saying bye-bye, Danny Ainge, bye-bye. Because all you did, because it's the same thing that a lot of these teams are doing in baseball. They want to stockpile talent in their minor league system and worry about where that is graded at. And there's something to be said for a guy that goes for it, right? And because I mentioned this a few years back, I don't remember exactly who I was talking about because there's a few that jump in my head, but you don't want the general manager that is constantly concerned about where his ranking is in his minor league system, meaning he's constantly going, hey, we've got one of the top 5 minor league systems in all of baseball. Bah, 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 bah. I want the guy that has the trophy case full.
No, you always like that frustrates me so much because a lot of people say, well, you know how the Cubs built this thing, it was the farm. Okay, maybe we don't have the greatest,
Yeah, but you don't want to go through that again because there was also 4 or 5 years of just terribleness.
I mean, Christian knows it too, being on the side. They followed a similar path to the Cubs. Now, yes, is it 4 years later finally worth it? But those 3 years were eye gouging. It was literally hell. Like, I'm talking about really bad teams. I'm not talking about even like close to mediocre. Bottom feeders for a few years to get to where we are today.
It's brutal. Atlanta went through the same thing in the mid 2010s, I guess is what we call it. So they had to, because the way they had constructed that team, it was strikeout city. There's aging veterans. It was time to dump it, but it's brutal because when you go through, let's just say you go through 3 years of rebuild, it feels like 20.
Yeah,
because you're like, oh God, yeah. When you're in Chicago, and this is both Cubs and White Sox, and you've now rebuilt it, dude, you don't want to go back to that again for a long time. You have got the money in that city to sign free agents, to keep guys. That's why the Yu Darvish thing was so devastating. You're like, really, dude? Really? You do that right before the season starts?
Right.
Right?
And didn't even get great prospects. We got, well, according to,
yeah, well, they were looking at it as they were trying to reset the money available.
Correct. Get the money out of the hand. I get it.
And I get it that the pandemic killed a lot of offices, but you're also on an even playing field with, as far as it hurt the Giants, it hurt the Dodgers, it hurt the San Diego Padres. You think the Yankees didn't hurt by not having fans in the stands last year? But do you think they're going to be like, we're going to sell at the deadline because we don't feel like we can do it? Hell no. This is why so many people are Yankees and Red Sox fans, because yes, they have the money, but the biggest thing is because they have the money and they know the money's on the line, they will not sit there and suck. They will try everything they can. Even the Red Sox on a year where you're like, you should not be any good. They are fighting for their playoff lives. Doing a hell of a job. And then no one can explain the Tampa Bay Rays. They don't have any money coming in. All they do is clip coupons, and somehow they end up in the series.
It's like
the truth. It's the truth.
And I watch that team regularly, and I can't figure them out. Because I'll see a guy come up to bat, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but I'll come see a guy and go, this dude sucks. How the hell are we going to start a rally with this guy? Somehow he gets on, and somehow the other guy hits a dribbler through the hole, and the next thing you know, the one guy like hits one off the wall, and we got a rally going, and it's like, and you still can't name anyone on the damn team.
No, because they always end up trading everybody in the off season.
You have somebody, you trade her, and Bullet Dodge, by the way, because they threw Blake, Snell out to San Diego. That dude's got a +5 ERA. They're like, nah, dude.
Bullet dodged right there for sure.
And I guarantee you, whatever they got back from that is going to equate into like 1 MVP and 2 Cy Youngs.
Oh, absolutely.
It's unbelievable. They are the best front office in baseball, and it's not even close. The scary thing is that the guys that originally started that, essentially, they run the Dodgers now. So they have both. They have and they also have this. And
it's a dangerous combination.
Exactly. Can you imagine if the Rays had money?
Oh,
we might as well not even watch. It'd be over.
The AL East would easily become the best division in baseball to pay attention to.
Or it'd be a runaway. It'd be a runaway because
one of the two.
Because the Yankees do incredibly stupid things, and the Red Sox do like every 3 years. You're like, why the hell did you give Sandoval $100 million? The guy can barely put on a pair of pants.
Yeah.
And I love Sandoval, man. Pablo is pinch hitter in Atlanta now. He does a great job, but we're also not paying the dude.
Yeah.
In a year to come off the bench as a pinch hitter and give hugs when someone hits a home run. The Yerminator. Now I'm starting to think that you're having some kind of sexual affair with him, Christian. I feel like we're always talking about it. And if you are, good for you, but just lock it down and make sure that he puts a ring on that, because you want to be able to take this money to the bank.
Well, I feel like
Yerminator again. There's 26 guys on this team.
Well, every day we look at him, whether he's in the lineup or he's not in the lineup. And when he is, you're hopeful that he's going to come through with one of those big cracks of a bat. But since starting the season, or in his last 28 days, the guy's batting 122. He's got 10 hits, 1 home run in the last 28 days, and 82 at bats. It's pretty tough justifying why the guy needs to be in the lineup every day. And I don't know. A part of me argues that we should just send him down to the minors and give somebody else a shot. We might see another Terminator come up from the minors. Who the hell knows? That's the beauty of calling these guys up. You just never know what you're going to get. But
does the Yerminator have options? Could he even be sent down?
If he can't, DFAing him, I don't think there's anybody in the league who's going to be looking to pick up him anytime soon, batting 122 in his past 80 at bats. It's hard to justify putting a guy up in a lineup like that. But with that being said, we can only be hope.
Right now, is he making league minimum, or what's the deal?
His contract?
Yeah,
it's got to be league minimum, just based on how long he spent in the minors. I don't think anybody was eager to throw coin at that guy. But I don't know what to make of it. Granted, Tony La Russa has been.
He's making 1 year for $500K.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's essentially yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic for him. I'm sure he's probably getting some bonus for all those home runs he clobbered in the first half of the year. But since then, that bank account's got to be showing up real quick.
Hey, he gave all his good luck to Patrick Wisdom, baby, hitting 300 with bombs, Dinger City. All that Yerminator power actually just went to the north side.
and I love it. I'm all for these heroic stories where these guys come out of nowhere. But just as we've seen the rise and fall of the Yerminator, so too will we see it with Wisdom. I don't wish that upon anybody. I'd love to see him keep cranking them, but it's just naturally, that regression to the mean that we see. So.
Well, it's like Brian LaHare from back in the day. If you remember that Cub, he was a flash in the pan for like 60 games. We know those players who just, I don't know if there's any Braves similar to that, but this guy's like, who the hell, like Junior, like who the hell is this 28 to 30-year-old? Nobody signs guy for 60 games, 40 games. They go off and then they're right back to where they came from.
I'm looking at what could be on their 40-man roster, because that's usually the big key. You don't want to take guys off the 40-man roster, although they could take Madrigal off their 40-man roster because he went to the 60-day IL. So that does open up someone that they could bring up. But as far as who's on the 40-man roster, they're kind of limited. Gavin Sheets is the only infielder that they could bring up. 6'5", 25 years. I don't know enough about him, but damn, 6'5" though.
That's a big boy.
He's a lefty too. 6'5". You're gonna laugh at this. And first of all, does anyone believe that the Mercedes is 245 pounds?
Oh goodness, that's about as big of a hoax. That's about as big of a hoax as lying that Zion Williams was, only 225 coming into the league. My ass, all right.
I need that same guy to weigh me on our weight loss challenge.
I'm only 140 pounds, fellas.
If he's 245, then I'm 245.
If he's 245, you're 200, Mac. All right, give yourself a little benefit of the doubt here. Shit.
Exactly. Freaking. Oh my God. Anyways, Mercedes 5'11", 645, supposedly. This guy Sheets is 6'5". He's still only 230 pounds. So already he's more athletic. I don't know. Give the guy a chance. Either that or you just bring up another outfielder, or I guess you could go with another arm, possibly. A couple other guys that they have down there is Luis Gonzalez. And unless it's the Luis Gonzalez, I don't want to bring him up. If I find out the Luis Gonzalez is still playing baseball, like the way the Bartolo Colon is playing down in Mexico, let's go ahead and give him a chance. But
yeah, I don't think there's any relation there, tragically.
when Billy Hamilton comes off the IL, would you be willing to put him on the roster and then send the Yerminator away, because at least Billy Hamilton gives you speed. At least he can pinch run.
I think Billy Hamilton will for sure get a spot, but I know you mentioned some prospects that the White Sox have. One who's made recent news is that of Jake Berger. He's a career third baseman in the minors, but they're actually making a little bit of an adjustment. He played his first game at second base just a few nights ago, and Rick Hahn made some comments about the White Sox looking to see what they had within their own farm system before they actively pursued any trade acquisitions, which we had the little conversation about, Cubs management, but White Sox management, the same thing, just so unclear about what's in store for the future. They don't want to give any clear determination whether they're going after any one player in particular, especially we talked about Adam Frazier plenty, but a part of me doesn't know what the hell they're going to do, whether they're going to try and bring up more prospects and then maybe trade for another outfielder, or maybe they force their hand and trade for Adam Frazier and then see what they've got with their outfield talent in the minors. I don't really know, but Rick Hahn not giving any decisive answer or input is kind of troubling,
So I was looking through to see what they had on the 40-man in the in on the pitching standpoint, and I see Reynaldo Lopez show up, and I was like, dude, that guy was pretty good. And I know he struggled at the beginning of the season. What's he been doing this year in the minors?
Yikes. That's all I have to say.
He's 0-4 with an 8.31 ERA in the minors. Get him out of AAA. Put that dude down in Class A, man. Like that's bad. That's really bad. What if that happened to that guy? He's 27. He should be coming into his prime. Man, give that guy some spider tack. Do something.
Send him to the independent Schaumburg Boomers or whatever they're called. My Lord.
I don't even know if I'd want that guy pitching on my local softball team, man. That's bad. That is bad. Oh man. See, what have we not gotten to? The Tampa series, good series for the Sox. What say you on that before we jump into some pepper?
Well, my final thoughts are that the White Sox played the toughest team in the American League in the Rays, and they ended up taking 2 out of 3. Fortunately for them, they had one close call at the end of that series, but it ended up working out in their favor. I will say this. The White Sox have only lost 3 games in a row one time this year, and that was to one team in a very unfortunate Yankees series, which I'd rather not talk about. So I'm hammering the White Sox today. I don't think there's any chance they lose to the Astros. I mean, I might eat my words, but that series against Tampa was huge. And I know we talked about potential playoff matchups. That is a very likely playoff matchup right there if the Rays continue playing the baseball they are. But for the White Sox to be performing as well as they are without 3 of their key cogs in the lineup, I'm not disappointed whatsoever.
Yeah, you got so we talked about having Lynn versus Valdez tonight, 6:15 Central on Fox. And then tomorrow will be on the local feed, Keuchel versus McCullers, and that's 2:10 Eastern, 1:10 Central. They should really think about calling up and seeing what the weather is going to be like tomorrow night in Atlanta, because that tropical storm's going through. If it's still looking like it's going to rain, they should really think about pushing that game to Sunday Night Baseball.
Oh yeah, I forgot Braves Cardinals is on the schedule for Sunday night, correct?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm a Braves fan. I'm tired of seeing them on Sunday Night Baseball.
Well, especially with those announcers.
That's the main reason. Plus, I like having my Sunday day game. I just do. And then I like seeing something national on something that I'm kind of forced to watch. I have the MLB package. I can watch whatever the hell I want to, right? But you're forced to because there's only that one game on, and I like having a variety. The Braves have been on a lot this year. The Cardinals have been on a lot this year. I think they dropped the ball not putting White Sox Astros on. Stupid. They don't tell me it's because of, that you're wanting. I get it that the Braves and the Cardinals have a big following. You're talking about Chicago and Houston. Those are 2 of the biggest television markets in the country.
I'd be all for it. As an outsider on that series. I like you said, I do like having my Sunday games during the game too for my teams. But when you got 2 good teams in 2 big cities, kind of seemed like a no-brainer.
Play each other too, because it's not even a divisional matchup, so they rarely play each other. Is bad job by ESPN. But anyways,
typical.
Yeah, I don't think I think they went because I think they have to choose their games early on. And then once they get to the All-Star break, they're probably jockeying for it right now to figure out what they're going to show the second half. They used to do the entire season at the beginning, and they realized that was a terrible idea because a team like Atlanta may not even be in the playoff picture. And if you got them, September 14th on a, you're like, what the hell what have we done? We put the freaking Braves versus the damn hell. What if something happens to the Dodgers? And they're out of it. And they're like, who's going to watch this? So they've changed that, thankfully. But I think they rely too heavily on putting the teams that were in deep in the playoffs last year in the first part of the slate. I think it's much better to have variety.
Agreed.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the Plain Pepper. Y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so today's Juneteenth. So I figured this would be a good one as we commemorate. Obviously, it was the Emancipation Proclamation, and this was essentially when it was first began. It was actually the obviously Republican Party after the Civil War. It was a big celebration because the slavery had been ended. And so it's just now coming into focus. I don't know what took it so long for it to come into focus. I'd never even really heard of the term Juneteenth until a couple of years ago. But anyways, the point being, first of all, I think they really needed to come up with a much snappier name, but whatever. With all that being said, Juneteenth's going on. So Black Americans have obviously made big strides when it comes to the world of sports, comes to baseball. Jackie Robinson's the first thing that comes to mind. But I've got a couple of interesting questions to you. All right. What Major League Baseball player today, they don't necessarily have to be a Black American, okay? Because this is leading into something down the road. So it doesn't have to be a Black American. But what Major League Baseball player today would be a great NBA player? And I will start with Joey.
Oh man, what MLB player would be a great NBA player? I automatically start thinking of like the quickest guys and the tallest guys. Like Aaron Judge popped in my head right away just because he's so tall, but he's not tall enough for the NBA.
He'd get hurt, man. He'd be Joel Embiid. That dude. That dude have a freaking broken knee or something every single game.
I'm just trying to think of somebody really explosive.
All right,
go ahead.
So I'll throw one at y'all. I think Fernando Tatis would be an incredible NBA player.
That was actually going to be my answer.
Sure, it was.
I'm so serious. The NBA is so full of life and character and all our players, and Tatis embodies that to the T. He plays with so much emotion.
So athletic. When all right, so I'll give you him. Okay.
All right, thanks.
I think he would be a hell of a shooting guard. Okay. Okay, if you're gonna throw it to me, I don't know if he's ever dribbled a basketball in his life, but I think if you taught him a couple of years, there's nothing Ronald Acuna Jr. couldn't figure out. And just from the way watching him leap from the dugout on celebrations, I figured the guy's got to be able to dunk. So I'm gonna go with him. I think a fun guy who would watch would be Ozzy Albies. I feel like, we talked about a second ago. I feel like Billy Hamilton would just be a ball hog. I feel like that dude.
I was thinking about
Rondo. Him. He'd just be dribbling around like, pass the ball. No. I got this. I don't know why I get that feeling, but I just got a feeling Billy Hamilton would just be a ball hog. Joey, you got one?
Honestly, I was thinking about the fastest guy, the tallest guy. I don't really have a good one that comes to mind.
It ain't gonna be the Yerminator.
No. You know what? I'll just keep.
Imagine his fat ass coming up and down the.
Oh boy.
245.
2 minutes a night would be all the time he gets on the clock.
Shorts falling down. Yeah. I can just see it. Who you going with?
You know what? I'm just gonna stick with if Javi Baez can make classic plays, and we're gonna say Tatis, I'm gonna say why can't that man do crazy things in the NBA too? Maybe as like a 2 guard. So I'll go Javi Baez. Why not?
I feel like Jason Hayward would be the best Cub.
He's
tall and he's athletic. Now, I have no idea if he's ever played a day of basketball in his life.
Well, I was looking up some
all
players.
time, I'm gonna say it's Dave Winfield because the guy was drafted in everything. But today, I don't know. Something tells me, if nothing else, I feel like Hayward could at least be a Dennis Rodman type and just go get the board. Right.
And I was looking at players actually, Mac, while you brought this topic up, who've done that. Names like Chris Young, who used to pitch for the Padres, or Mark Hendrickson, who pitched a little bit for Tampa Bay. Those are 2 guys who actually started in the NBA and actually made it to the MLB. So I was trying to find some crossover there.
What NBA player would be good in Major League Baseball?
Oh, what NBA player? You know what? I'm going to go with Donovan Mitchell just because he's an all or nothing type of guy. I feel like that guy would just be a big spark in an offensive lineup, and I feel like he'd be pretty flashy with his. I just feel like he's one of those guys that carries a lot of swag with him and could, you'll have your headaches once in a while, but I just feel like that guy would do some good things.
See him playing third base for some reason. I don't know why. But
yeah, I was thinking infield. I was just like, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes
he'd be a clutch hitter for obvious reasons.
Yeah, no, man. We can't. Don't even.
Choking. They choked that series away
without Kawhi Leonard. Come on, man.
Up 2-0. The last 2 games without Kawhi. Choke.
Jesus.
What say you, Christian?
My first name that came to my mind was a Trae Young. I could see him playing like a second base shortstop kind of deal. And just because he's like so good,
I had written down, but I got a second one. Go ahead.
Just because he plays with so much emotion and he's cool with playing like that bad guy role, he kind of gives me Manny Machado vibes. Like he'll be the asshole to like taunt the other team, showboat a home run or that kind of thing. So my pick was easily Trae Young.
Yeah, I feel like Trae Young. I feel like he would be a real pain to get out. I just have this feeling. See him as like a second baseman, probably. The guy that I'll tell you what, I will even make it even more centralized. I'm gonna take a guy that is still in the playoffs, okay? Because you've got it essentially set where tonight's game 7, you got the Bucks and you got the Nets, and then waiting is the winner of Philly and Atlanta. So we got Trae Young out of the way, and then the Suns are going to play the Clippers. I don't know what the hell that's going to be. What if it's a Kawhi-less Clipper and a Chris Paul-less Suns? What kind of ratings is that thing going to get?
Yeah, not much.
But I'm thinking a guy that would probably be pretty good, and I think he'd be a good pitcher because he's the thinking man, would be Chris Paul.
Oh yeah.
If he would be able to play this weekend because MLB doesn't have COVID protocols from 7 months ago. So he would be able to play this week because he's been freaking jabbed, so he wouldn't have to be taking these stupid COVID tests when you've already gotten the damn vaccination.
Yeah, that's I'm like you said, I'm looking forward to tonight's stuff, but a lot of NBA, and when you don't have LeBron.
Chris Paul being like a Maddox type, someone who's going to beat you more with guile than actual. And I would think a point guard would have some pretty good touch on him.
Oh yeah, maybe some sticky stuff.
All right, the last thing before we leave here on Juneteenth, what Black American MLB player is your favorite? And we're going to go with one for today and then one for all time. Okay. Christian, I'll start with you.
I was just saying, my first name that came to my mind got to be Ken Griffey Jr., one of the most exciting players to ever play the game. I mean, he just brought so much life to Seattle in a city where, baseball is kind of forgotten about. But today, it's got to be Tim Anderson for me. He's like the heart and soul of the White Sox organization. So that's That's an easy one.
Joey, what say you?
You know, if I'm going all time, it's kind of funny because I'm going to go to the South Side and say Frank Thomas. He did it I mean, as far as we know, he's done everything the right way. I like his commentating. I think he's just, a good person. He even like kind of cracks me up. So for my all time guy, I would go him. And then I'm trying to still think. I'm definitely not going Jason Hayward. He's got enough money where I'm not saying that name. That would be a clownish move. Tim Anderson's a good one. Mookie Betts is obviously another name that could be thrown out there. I don't know, Matt. Who's yours while I'm still finishing up my current play?
Okay, so my all-time is Mr. Bob Gibson.
Okay.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that my grandfather was a huge fan, and then I was lucky enough to meet him years ago.
Nice.
I was working. I was doing security in a bar. Long story short, if I haven't told y'all this story, I know I've told it on the weekly show, but I did not want to approach him because I didn't want to bother a guy, but I recognized, like, holy crap, that's freaking Bob Gibson. Now, this is a bar that got celebrities in all the time, and my manager was actually surprised that I was actually awestruck because the people that I was running into every day are like the names of names, right?
Right.
I don't give a damn because none of them played center field, right? So I don't care who you are. But I meet a baseball legend, and I was like, oh my god, that's freaking Bob Gibson. So anyways, he's sitting over there, and they finally talked me into going and talking to him. He's eating lunch. This was a nightclub at night, but it was a restaurant during the day. And I go over there to talk to him, and all basically the gist of it was this. I said, hey, Mr. Gibson, nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. He was really nice, but I didn't want to be bothering him because he was there with the lady, and I really don't know, what the relationship was, but I wasn't going to bother him. I go to walk away, and I had to get, and so you got to realize this dance floor that they had at night, the place was called Shoeless Joe's. And so this dance floor that they had at night looked like a baseball diamond. Okay.
Oh, nice.
During the day, they had chairs and tables sitting on top of this baseball diamond because that's where people ate, right? So at night, you'd pull it out of the way. During the day, they're sitting on there. So he happened to be sitting like basically right next to home plate, okay, in this little thing. And so I said, I've got to ask you this because it's just something that my grandfather told me about. I said, what would you do if I did this? And I acted like I was standing at home plate, and I leaned over home plate, right? Like I was like a lot of them do today, right? Where their elbows are over it and stuff like that. And I was doing this number. And he got up and he stuck his finger and put it right in between my ribs. And it was hard. It hurt. he goes, I can't say exactly what he said. He goes, I'd put that M&F and ball right here, so because it belongs to me. Okay. And looked me dead in the eye, and like there was like a, you knew he mean business.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, talking about that, yes. And he just started laughing, shaking his head like, why are you so happy? I said, you're the man, like that. I just walked off.
That's the exact answer you wanted to hear.
I was like, I'm not even going to say one more thing to him because that was the perfect exit. I was like, I'm done. So he is my all-time favorite. Joey, did you think of one while we were
yeah, well, and a little story. So it's funny. I would say, even though it's not as recent, Dexter Fowler, just because of what he did with the Chicago Cubs. I know his career is on the downwards now, but what's funny you say that story because last night, actually, my buddy was sitting right behind Theo Epstein and Chris Chelios at the Chicago Cubs game, and he was kind of afraid to say something too, and eventually he ended up just not as cool a story as yours. He got a picture with him, but it was interesting to see Theo back in town, as I'm sure he's always obviously invited back, being the World Series configure there. But it's always a little nerve-wracking when you meet somebody famous and how you kind of approach that, because everybody wants a picture or a comment, or you came up with a sly way to do it with Gibson, but always fun to meet somebody that's popular.
I think my current would be, because it really popped online because I saw him the other night scoring on a on a double that someone had hit. Justin Upton, I really liked Justin Upton, and I miss him. I really liked him as a Brave. He was calm, he was quiet, he was a leader, and it's hard to believe he's been gone as long as he has been. But I was looking up his stats, and I was like, man, I'm so glad to see that he continued to do well, because I was a big fan of his. His brother, not so much. His brother was terrible, but it seems like a nice guy. But BJ Upton, and then what he changed it to, he went by his original name. I can't remember it, but I'm always going to think of him as BJ Upton because he was using it as junior. But anyways, what's your walk-off for the day, Christian?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, the White Sox have yet to lose 3 games this year other than once to the Yankees. I don't foresee that happening with the electric Lance Lynn on the mound. Granted, Framber Valdez having a decent year. I love the White Sox today. I think I'll be taking them with the runs, 1.5 runs, just to cover my ass a little bit, but I'm hammering them today. I have to.
Joey, what's your walk-off?
Jake Arrieta, you're one of my favorite. Get the job done. Just like I said on the armchair quarterbacks on Thursday about Giannis.
So you're rolling with that 5.14 ERA in fantasy today.
It's a risk. It's a risk. I'm just hoping on the home field he can get in those 5 innings, 1 run, 5 Ks, and just get me a W and get the hell out of there. Because the Cubs need a stopgap right now, and unfortunately, there's not many starters in the rotation who could be stopgaps. So I'm putting Jake Arrieta into the limelight.
So my walk-off for the day, we've already talked about the Cubs and White Sox games. Obviously, you got to watch those. And there's a couple of decent matchups today, but the one that I'm focused on, it's actually on MLB Network today, which I just saw that it's going to be on MLB Network. But 4:05 first pitch, good pitching matchup. Aaron Nola is in San Francisco to face Alex Wood. And I think that's going to be when we talked about Alex Wood in the early show this morning, they were talking about whether or not he can sustain, et cetera, et cetera. If he goes out and pitches a good game against Philadelphia, I think that goes a long ways to showing that he's here to stay. And I'm going to say I would bet money he's going to pitch a perfect game today, because Sean is betting against him, and everything Sean has done on that show has not aged well.
Did he bet on the Astros today by any chance?
No, I don't think that came up, but I'm telling you, every week I'm texting going, that didn't age well. Like 7 minutes after the show starts, like the guy breaks his ankle or something. It's like so he's trashing Alex Wood today, saying you got to sell him. That means he's about to throw a perfect game against the Phillies. Bet money. I don't know what the odds you can get. Put $1 to win 2,000 or whatever the hell the odds are. There's a good chance Alex Wood's about to spin a gem. All right. All right, y'all. Great show. We will see you next Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, here on Armchair Quarterbacks show. It is the neighborhood play. Great job, guys.
Go Milwaukee Bucks. Pray for me.
Oh, God, would I not love to see that? I am going to be locked in on that, by the way, unless it turns into a route, which I'm afraid. Would you grow some stones, Greek freak? You got 2 MVPs. Can you get 1, 2, 3 shots in the lane tonight?